Okay, so what do you know about the Blanton?
I know it's a museum on campus that's free for students.
Cool.
That's pretty much it.
Have you been to the Blanton?
I have not been to the Blanton.
Okay. And why have you not been to the Blanton?
I don't know. I haven't really heard that many exciting things about it, I guess. It never really appealed to me to go check it out.
Okay. Do you generally like museums?
Yes, I actually really do. Museums in Houston, where I'm from, I like them a lot. So I check them out all the time, but I just never went to the Blanton.
Okay, so you just never really made it out to the Blanton even though it's free and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, maybe I'm lazy or uncultured, but I just never made it.
No, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions about the Blanton.
Sweet.
Okay, so what do you know about the Blanton Museum?
It has a lot of Texas-based artists' art pieces, and yeah.
You know it's like free for students and everything
Yeah,
like that?
it's free for students if you have your ID. It's closed on Mondays, and yeah.
Okay, and you've been to the Blanton?
Yes, I've been once.
Okay, how was your experience?
My experience at the Blanton was school-based because I went with a group for a school project, but I was almost intrigued by the pieces I saw around me. It would have been really interesting if I was able to kind of like sneak away and see the other art pieces.
Oh, okay, so do you think that you will go by yourself and check it out?
Of course, yeah. I've been wanting to go, and I'll probably make that a goal this summer to go check out the Blanton.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I understand that you're a relatively new member of the Blanton family. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your goals for visitor experience and interaction?
Sure. I've been at the Blanton for almost 2 years now, and people at the Blanton really want this to be a welcoming place, a place that is thought-provoking, that people can make a personal connection to. These are some of the brand aspirations. I mean, we actually did research about audience experience and what we hoped the Blanton could be for people of UT and of Austin more generally. And so words like thought-provoking and personally meaningful, a place where you can learn about yourself and others, see yourself in the world, a larger world. These are some of the things that we care about. We want it to be fun and social experience for people who are looking for that. And of course, as an educator, I hope that good learning can happen here.
Okay, great. So in our class, we've learned and discussed a lot about Tony Bennett's exhibitionary complex as well as Hooper Greenhill's post-museum model. When we last explored the museum, we noticed many of these post-museum elements in the museum, like the interactive rooms on the first floor exhibits. Can you tell us a little bit about these rooms and other elements I think that you've implemented?
Well, we're interested, in sort of supporting the temporary exhibitions in particular with some interpretive information as well as, opportunities to participate. So maybe you were noticing in the resources rooms for the Silhouette and Eva Hesse exhibition, Converging Lines, there's a place that sort of talks about a timeline for these artists. It shows a map of Manhattan and sort of charts out where artists and dancers and musicians were living, and you can get a sense of it was a pretty tight community of creative folks in the 60s and 70s when the exhibition is there. So we provided that kind of biographical and geographical context. But one of the big themes of the exhibition is the sort of mutual friendship and influence of Silhouette and Eva Hesse. And there's actually a famous letter that Louette wrote, sort of I think it was a dark moment for Eva Hesse, and it was a very encouraging 5-page letter that says, sort of basically, let go of your worries and just do your art. And so in the resource room, we've reproduced that letter and are offering it as a poster. And we happen to know that this letter is sort of posted in studios around the country, because many artists have found this particularly encouraging. So we like the idea of creating a giveaway poster that people can use to find inspiration in. But in addition, we set up a postcard writing station in that resource room, and the idea there was to invite people to write an encouraging postcard to someone special. And again, it's something that people can do that resonates with the themes of the exhibitions. And it also ties into some of the territory that we're working on with our school programming around social and emotional learning. So the idea of being thoughtful and choosing your words that would be encouraging, or sort of attitudes that we're trying to cultivate in various ways. The other exhibition is called Perception Unfolds. It's looking at choreography by Deborah Hay, who was thinking about a new way to show contemporary dance that she had choreographed, and we did this wonderful immersive installation where you walk around among these screens and you can almost feel as if you're interacting with these dancers. But again, the resource room has interviews with the artist talking about her creative process, an invitation to draw or reflect on the experience of the installation, and that turns out to be pretty interesting to see what people say about their experience there. And then the score itself, because Deborah Hay's choreography is not very controlling, it's more suggestive, and there are a lot of different ways to respond to her choreographic prompts. So we get to see the score that these dancers were responding to, and maybe even imagine how we would do it ourselves. And then, books, comfortable furniture. Again, it's meant to signal this is a place where you can sit down, relax, learn something more, process the exhibition, go back and do it again. So yes, those are, I think you can hear the resonance between our brand aspirations and language and things that we're trying to accomplish with the resource rooms.
Definitely. And since the Blanton is a university museum, it plays a big role in student life. However, oftentimes it seems students are scared to come or don't even know it's free to them. We've noticed signs in front of the university co-op encouraging students to visit. Can you tell us more about how you're trying to combat students' anxiety toward visiting the museum?
Well, obviously we have those big colorful banners that sort of flag this as an art museum. One of the aspects of our building, it's not intimidating in terms of the classical architecture and the big steps that a lot of museums in this country, like the Metropolitan, have. The architecture can be intimidating, but it's almost as if the Blanton architecture blends in so well with other buildings on campus that we sort of lose the sense that it's an art museum. So we're trying to combat that with labels and with really investing in a marketing and PR campaign. In education, we have a full-time position that's dedicated to university outreach, and the focus of that is going to be with curricular engagement. So noticing what courses are being taught on campus that have something to do with art or museums or culture that's represented, and then encouraging faculty to use the museum as a teaching resource. And I think that's it. We probably saw 7,000 UT students last year who came for a curriculum-related experience. And even though that's different from choosing it, it's a strategy for showing that it's relevant to your studies and that it is an art museum on campus. And we always tell people that it's free for UT students.
Okay, great, thank you. And finally, just wanted to ask, do you feel that these efforts that we've talked about today and you told us about are changing the public perception of the Blanton?
I hope so. Public perception takes a while to change, and you have to sort of do it in different arenas. One new thing that will be unveiled this summer is we just worked with a UT faculty artist named Leslie Muchler, and she designed some like art making stations. They're going to be positioned on the mezzanine. Did you see them last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Were they busy? I think we had a slow week last week.
It was pretty slow when we went,
But there was a lot of artwork left there.
yeah,
That was really neat.
a lot of it on display.
So I think that's part of really trying to suggest to our visitors and to our community that the museum is a place for inspiration and creativity, and we do that in our public programs too, trying to present often music that responds to the collections or the exhibitions. So this idea that the museum isn't just a place that has old art, but that it does have old art, and sometimes new ideas come out of that experience. So again, involving Austin's creative communities and providing opportunities for art making, for performance. That's part of our effort as well. When those work lab satellites went up last week for the first time, and I didn't get to see a lot of them after we got them up, but I did go by once and saw 3 adults very concentrated in their art making, and that was pleasing because the conventional wisdom is, oh, kids are the ones who want to make something, but actually the satellites are designed not to give cues about what age level this is for, but just to sort of be this sculptural, welcoming, come make something together kind of place. And it'll be fun for adults to be making more art in this world.
Okay, great. Thank you. Beautiful.